Welcome to Motion Tracking in After Effects. Motion tracking is about tracking moving objects within your videos. In this section, you will learn how to use the tracker panel, and in particular the track motion option, and also how to properly define a track point and how to attach shape layers, compositions, and effects to the analyzed tracker. You will also learn how to use the perspective corner pin to track and replace a whole area in your videos. In addition, you will have two practice activities. One for replacing a phone screen with the motion graphic compositions, and another where you will attach three different elements: text, image, and a light ray effect. So let's dive in the next lecture and start tracking. Welcome to motion tracking. Motion tracking is very easy to use in After Effects, provided that you go step by step and you make sure that each step is well done, well rectified until you get the result you want, and you move on to the next step. If you want to follow along with me, please open the file motiontracking.aep. We are now in composition motion tracking position. If you play the video, there is a boat that is in motion, so the boat is going from one place to another. Motion tracking is about tracking the motion of an object or an element within the video and then attaching some motion graphics, for example, some effects or whatever you like. So actually it's pretty easy. To start motion tracking, you need the tracker panel. If you don't have it over here, of course you go to Window, and you have the tracker panel here. You check it and it will open. Within the tracker panel, if you select a video, for example, you have four options here. They summarized it. It's pretty cool. You have the track camera. If you click on it, you'll notice that the track camera is an effect over here, and we start even working. I will undo this. And you have the warp stabilizer. If you click on it again, it's an effect that you can work with. But now, the track motion and the stabilized motion are not effects. They are, I would say, methods. If we start now with the track motion and we click on it, the first thing you notice that it has opened the layer panel for the video. So actually you do your motion tracking in the layer panel here for the selected video. Within your tracker panel, the motion source has been set to the video you had selected when you clicked on track motion. And then there is a current track. You have tracker 1, you could have several trackers by the way, and you have the track type is a transform. It's like the transform properties here. You can do in the transform position, rotation, and scale. You also have the motion target. The purpose of motion tracking is to track certain element, then attach pre-composition, motion graphics, other effects, or other videos if you like. Within your timeline, you notice that motion tracking is turned down, and inside there is the tracker 1 is the same as current track here. If you turn down tracker 1, you will see that you have a track point with certain properties here. In your layer panel, a track point 1 has been created, and you can start positioning the track point and tracking whatever is within the track point. In the next lecture, we will see about the track point and how it works and how to put it in use. In this lecture, you are going to learn about the track point. What are these squares that you see here and what is this plus in the middle? Also, we are going to position the track point on a certain element or certain visual that we want to track within the video. And in the next lecture, we are going to analyze and track, and then we will attach a target just from over here. First, there is something important I need to bring to your attention. Let's look at the tracker here. We have track point 1. Now, every time you click on the track motion, a tracker is created. Within the tracker, you have track point 1. So notice there is no difference between the two track points. If you click again by mistake, okay, now you have so many trackers. Please, if this is the case, select all the trackers that you don't need, keep only tracker 1, and press delete to delete all the trackers except tracker point 1. I will twirl it down. Now select track point 1, and you can see track point 1 within your layer panel. Let's understand a bit about the track point. If you zoom in, I'm using the mouse scroll here to zoom in. All of this is the track point 1. There is a big square, which is the search region, and there is a smaller square, which is the featured region, and there is a cross there that is called the attach point. The big square here is the search region. This is where After Effects is going to search to determine the position of the featured region, the smaller square. Within the smaller square, you are going to look for a certain luminosity. If you come to options here, you will notice that it's a tracker 1 and there are the channels here. You could look for a color, RGB, for luminance or saturation. Luminance is how bright or dim is the pixel. It's the best to work with. But also RGB and saturation in some cases can be very useful. So it's going to look within the feature region, the smaller square, for the luminance. And then it's going to position the attach point and keyframe it. So this is the whole concept. Within the search region, place the feature region and position the attach point and keyframe it. If you come to the layer over here, there is the feature center. The feature center is the center of the whole track point. Here you are. You notice if I move it very slowly, it is moving the whole track point. And then there is the feature size. This is the size of the feature region. You see, you can make it bigger or smaller. Okay, it's not good at all to make it bigger than the search region. It doesn't make sense also. But also you can come over here, click on the corners and make it the size that you want. From here is much better because you make it bigger. Notice what's happening. The search region also is getting bigger. That's a cool way also to work. I will undo all this. And then you have the search size. This is the size of the search region. Of course, you can change the values from here, but much more practical to click on one corner and start moving it around to decide for your search region. And you have the attach point. This is the position of the attach point. Notice now it's in the middle of the composition. You have over here the confidence. Higher values means that After Effects is very confident in his analysis for the track point. Lower values like 2 or 3%, it means the track point is lost completely. You can't see where it is. So the confidence is an indication of how good is your track point in terms of the feature size and the search region. Now the next step is to position the track point for what you want to track. So I will zoom out here and I want to track this little guy over here. You can click anywhere within the track point. And when the mouse pointer looks like a move pointer, you can click and drag and position it wherever you want. Notice how it's trying to zoom in because actually we usually track very small points. Now I will use Alt or Option on the Mac and zoom in, spacebar to position. First of all, you focus on the search region. Make sure the search region is big enough to always include whatever you want to track. Then you focus on the feature region. This is what you want to track. You can just move it like this. I prefer to do that. And readjust the search region. Okay, that's what I usually do. Yet you can start resizing the feature region here or the small square. It's important that within your search region, there is always the element that you are trying to track. And in the feature region, there is something that is, different from the background. The luminance is higher than the background. So if you call the guy the foreground, it has higher luminance than the background. So for me, I think this is cool. It is never 100% correct. You need sometimes to come back and adjust it. And sometimes you will need to cancel everything and do it again. So it's not like you adjust it, you're going to click on Analyze and it's going to work. No, there will be adjustment to do. And I chose a video here where there will be a big adjustment to do. Now, this is about the track point, how to position it and how to adjust it. In the next lecture, we'll move on to analyze, of course, forward. So now you're ready to start analyzing and creating the motion path for the attach point. Fine. But before that, there is a very important preference I would like you to set. Otherwise, you won't be able to see all the keyframes in the layer panel. Please, if you are on Windows, go to Edit, and in Edit you go to Preferences. If you are in the Mac, Preferences will be under After Effects CC. In the Preferences, please go to Display. In the Display group, you have Motion Path. I would like you to set it to all keyframes. This is how I've been working here, but we never had more than 5 keyframes. Maybe yours was no more than 5 keyframes. So set it on all keyframes and click OK. So now we'll be able to see all the keyframes in the layer panel. Since you are ready to start tracking, make sure that in the current track you are in tracker 1. In the track type it is transform and nothing else. If by mistake you clicked on rotation or scale and you have another tracker point, first uncheck them, okay, and come to the tracker point that has been created for you and simply delete it. Okay, and we can start now analyzing. I will move on to fit to 100% so we can see the track point moving, and I will click on Analyze Forward. Of course, because we are in the beginning of the comp. If we were at the end, we will use Analyze Backward. Analyze Forward, I click, and here you are. Notice how the track point is moving very nicely and very correctly with the guy until it starts getting to this pole. That's what's going to happen. Wow, the track point lost the guy and there is no point of continuing, so I will stop it. Now, with the preference, you can see all the keyframes over here. What we are going to do now is to correct here, delete was not necessary, move the track point to a better location, and then analyze again. Let's do that. I press on Alt. If you are on the Mac, press on Option, and I will scroll in. If you notice that at a certain point, okay, just over here, notice how much there is. Okay, you are here. You can use page up and page down. There is a keyframe on every frame. So page down, it's moving the attach point to the next keyframe. Here you are. Okay, we are going to decide which last keyframe we want. Okay, this is cool. Since this is a motion path, you can just click on a keyframe. You see, I selected the keyframe, not the attach point, and just click and move it around. Here you are. Now notice how it's changing the value in the attach point and the feature center. Notice how it's doing. So actually, this is a motion path, and you are using one keyframe of the motion path to move it around. Now, after this keyframe, let's say just over here, you really don't want anything. So you will select all your keyframes. I will zoom in a bit. Here you are. Select all the keyframes after the last keyframe we decided on. And here you are, all of them. And press delete, and they're gone. Cool. So that's the first adjustment. Now let's go to the last keyframe. I press J to go to the last keyframe. And what you are going to do is to move in time. Here you are. So the guy reappears. Press spacebar, move it in the middle here. We can see it. And then reposition the track point. Simple, just like this. Okay, you can put it up and down, mess it up the way you would like. But here is okay, I think. The luminance here is not bad. Then, as simple as this, you continue tracking. Let's go to 100% first and click on Analyze Forward. Here you are. And let's zoom in when it finishes. Notice that at the end here, it's stuck to one point, but you have a lot of keyframes. You can leave them. It really doesn't matter. There is no problem. Now, if you scrub through, you will notice that it's moving on every single keyframe according to the feature center keyframe, and of course you have the attach point keyframe. So now that you have all these keyframes and you have a motion path, in the next lecture, we're going to start attaching to the attach point and see how it happens. In the previous lecture, within the layer panel, we did the analyze and we created keyframes for the feature center and the attach point. Now it's time to start attaching. Here we are going to use the edit target. But before, let me show you something important. You can see all the keyframes here and you can see the motion path in the layer panel. But if you go back to the composition panel, you cannot see the motion path anymore. This is because the attach point is not positioned, and hence you don't see the motion path. Something else. You notice that when you go to the composition panel, in the tracker panel, you don't see the source layer anymore. It has changed. Let's say you deselect. and come back to the layer panel. My advice to you is not to go back and select the source and have all the information. I would prefer that, let's go back to the original, that when you come back to the layer panel, you select the tracker point just like this, and all the info here will appear. Sometimes when you try to reselect the source, it might change the track type to row, and you don't want this to happen. You don't want to have this mistake. So now let's start attaching. We are going to start attaching a simple circle. So I would select all, go to the shape layer, take ellipse and draw a simple ellipse here. We make it in form of a circle. Let's give it a stroke of black, something we can see nicely. Let's make it 5. Okay, I'm just designing it. Let's select the shape layer here, press enter and rename it circle. Now, to attach the circle to the attach point, of course, you want to use the parenting or the expressions. Don't do that, please. Let's go to the layer panel. And in the layer panel, like we said, we select the tracker. This is the tracker. And you go to edit target. If you click on edit target, you notice here you have applied motion to. So you're applying this motion to the layer circle. What motion are you applying? You are applying the motion of the attach point. You click OK. It's not done yet. So after selecting your target, you click on apply. You have now the panel motion tracker apply options. Apply dimensions X and Y. If you turn it down, you can apply X only or Y only. Okay, let's apply X and Y. That makes sense. And we click OK. Notice how it jumped back to the composition panel because in the layer panel, the shape layer doesn't exist here. I want to show it to you. And here you are. It has somehow attached the shape layer to the attach point. But actually what happened here? If you select your shape layer and press U for the keyframes, you notice that position has all the keyframes of the attach point. So actually this is not linking or any kind of expression. It simply had copied all the keyframes of the attach point to the position of the circle. If you click on the position now, you can see the motion path over here. If you play, of course, it's going to play the position of the circle. But now let's look at other options. I will come to position here, just remove all the keyframes and put the circle somewhere else. Let's go down to attach point. We go to the layer panel and I will zoom in a bit to see the attach point. Here it is. And I'm going to scrub it up or down. Notice where I'm going to put it, just over here. Do you see it? I put it over here. So actually, I offset the attach point by 70 pixels. If I edit the target, I will select circle. And of course, you have to apply. And you say X and Y. I say OK. It jumped back to the composition panel. And look where is the circle. If you come to the circle, you can see the position here. But it has offset it by 70 pixels. If you play now, it's offset of 70 pixels on the X and Y together. This is pretty cool and very useful. And you benefit from the attach point instead of coming and fiddling with the anchor point of the circle itself. The only problem here, if you change now the attach point, nothing is going to happen. You know, they just copied the keyframes. And now, if you come to the circle itself, for example, come to the content, since position is taken, what I will do, I will come to the transform circle over here. I will keyframe the position, take it down a bit, okay, and then go after half a second, take it up. Then at 1 second, for example, just take the first keyframe, Ctrl V and Ctrl C, Alt or Option and click on the stopwatch, and I will write loop out. I click out. Now, let's see the animation, what happened. Notice it's very cool. You have the circle going up and down, hitting the guy's head. Oops, we have a problem. The circle, of course, is above the layer itself. So how are you going to fix this problem? Well, I want to show you how to fix this problem because it's very nice. I will turn down everything, take a new copy of the video itself and drop it on top, just on top of everything. So it's totally in front. And now, maybe you guessed it, you take the pen behind tool, and if you zoom in, you can now create a mask. So I'll create a single mask here, not very meticulous, but something good. Okay. If I come down here, let's put one over here and one over here. Okay, we're doing just a very simple mask. And I will close it. So now the first layer, the top layer, doesn't have anything. Let's change the composition setting. We make it black. So now you notice you have just the pole from the video. Put them all on. Play your animation. Let's put it at 100%. And notice now the circle is going to be behind the pole. Now the pole does not belong to the same video. Now these are tricks that you will learn, but it's very important that you get a notion how to do these things. Let's go to the end here. That's what's happening here. The circle, when the guy is coming, you need to fix that. Okay, so what shall we do? Let's open the keyframes of the circle. I press U. We zoom in first. After this point, okay, we came over here, it comes here. Okay, after here, you just wanted to exit the screen. So I'm going to delete all the keyframes. So it's over here. I will zoom in to see it very clearly. And from here, after 2 or 3 frames, just hold the circle. Notice how the circle is going down. So we stop here maybe. We take it out. Of course, it's going up and down, so it's going to look a bit funny. Okay, let's go to fit with 100%. And here you are. If you play, you notice the animation is pretty cool now. Okay, guys, you have done your first attachment. I hope this was fun. It's actually pretty easy. And all you have to do is to use the edit target and then apply. I will see you in the next lecture with more attachments such as pre-compositions. In this lecture, we're going to expand a bit. First, we are going to attach a composition. If you double click on the radar composition, you'll notice I designed something here, very simple motion graphics. Now it will be interesting to attach this radar just on the top of the mast here. That's what we are going to do. And then we are going to create a track point that is not so good. And I will show you how to work on it. Remember before here, we just deleted the keyframes because there was nothing to track. But from time to time, the tracker and the track point will play games on you, so you need to learn how to fix it. So we select our layer, and of course, you go to your layer panel. I will zoom to 100%. And you need another track point. So I will click on track motion. Here you are. I have another tracker with track point 1. You notice the tracker here, 2, with its track point 1. What will be nice is to rename it for no confusion at all. You press enter, and let's say here we say radar point. Now we know what we're doing here. So click on the track point and make it nearer to the mast on top here. Press Alt or Option on the Mac and scroll so I can zoom in. Let's put it just on top of the mat. Here you are. Okay, that seems good. Let's adjust it a bit. Okay, this is cool. Somehow your choice. I really cannot, guarantee it's going to be good. But I can try. Fit to 100%, and the only thing we have to do now is to click on Analyze Forward. Now let's look at the radar point here. Notice here it's doing some games going up and down and so on. Then it goes straight. Cool. I guess from here that's enough. We stop. Cool. Let's go back and see the problem here. You notice what happened over here. Let's zoom in. And these keyframes are up and down and so on. Well, there are two choices here. If you are patient and you are very, very meticulous, then you can come over and, adjust every keyframe at a time. You can click on the keyframe and just put it up. Here you are. And then page down. Okay, you go forward and click on the next one. I missed one. Okay, and then go and put it up. Now, I don't have the patience to do this. And the best way to do that, the regular way, is to adjust the keyframe. Here you are. Click on it and adjust it. So I'm positioned on the keyframe. And simply go ahead and analyze forward again. First, let me go to 100%. And I will say analyze again. Now, notice what's going to happen. It seems nothing is happening because of the motion path that is already displayed. Okay, but then we will have to wait for the result. I think over here it will be cool. Notice what happened. I will go back in time, okay, to where we had the problem. Zoom in. It has readjusted all the keyframe. And now they are in a straight line and a normal motion path. This is the way to do it. When you have a problem, for example, over here, you have these things doing like this, you come and position to the bad keyframe. Okay, so I'll move in time. I will go page down, many of them. Okay, so I will position on this one, click and adjust it again, and then go to analyze again forward, and then it will adjust all the keyframes. I will undo all this because we have a nice path. So now that we have our next tracker, that is the radar point, let's attach the radar composition to this radar point. First thing you have to do is to click and drag and drop it inside the composition. You can drop it if you like under the pole. That will be more interesting, in fact, keeping the pole, on top. Then you want to go to your layer panel and come to the tracker 2. Be careful, it's tracker 2. Notice it should be tracker 2 and not tracker 1. Okay, tracker 1 is the previous one. We go to tracker 2 and we say edit target. Notice here the layer, we have now 3 options. We can have the radar, the circle again, but of course we want the radar. We click OK and we say apply. Do you want X and Y or Y only? Y will go in a straight line. X, I think it will stay in the same place. So let's select X and Y. Here you are. The radar here is very big. That's cool. Let's open the scale. I press S and let's open the position. So when you applied, it has copied all the keyframes from radar point or tracker 2 into the position of the radar pre-comp. Now for the scale here, you can play with it. I make it 30%. Let's play and see, is it working? Not bad. I will deselect with F2. Here you are. It's not bad at all. It looks pretty fine, except at the end over here, you need to fix it. You don't want it to come out. So let's zoom in on the keyframes. I will go deep inside. And let's notice exactly how the animation is working. There is a motion within the pre-comp, right? So you need to take care of that. In all kind of motion graphics, there is a motion in the pre-comp and you need to adjust the timing. So let's do it. Let's say come over here, and this is the last one that's happening over here, for example, and all you have to do is to just cut the layer. Here you are. Notice now it's go, wow, now it's working fine. Maybe I cut too soon. You can come and adjust it. Okay, if you say F2, make it one more. Here you are. Yes, let's play it now. It looks fine. It's not bad. Maybe if you give it another one, it will look better. Okay, so it's up to you. Guys, I'm trying to adjust it at 100% in the lecture, but nevertheless you get the point. You might be wondering why the keyframes are copied and not a link through expression. Having the keyframes here will give you much more, I would say, manipulation power to adjust the keyframes the way you want, and even to move the whole position. If you decide, okay, I'm going to move the whole position here, you can just move it over here. You notice if you had an expression, it's not going to be easy. So now you have the radar just over here. I will undo that. Okay, so duplicating the keyframes is pretty intelligent, I found it, and pretty practical, so you can manipulate the motion the way you would like. So the concept goes, you track, you finish tracking, you use the keyframes after you have applied it to the target. Hi guys, in this lecture you are going to learn how to attach an effect to a track point. There are so many effects that have a center and can be attached to a track point. And also there are other effects without a center. I invite you to try to attach them to a track point. We are going to use the radar point here. Let's go to Effect and Preset, and the one I'm suggesting here is CC Light Rays. It's an interesting effect. If you want to attach the effect itself, you need to apply it on the video itself. So I'll click and drag and drop it on the video. Here you are, you have the CC Light Ray. It's a very nice one. it has several properties that you can change. You have the intensity, you can make it higher or lower the way you would like. You have the center, and this becomes interesting because this is what you are going to attach to the radar point. And also you have the radius, you can make it big or small, whatever you like, guys. And you have the warp softness, and there is the shape, round or square. I'm gonna use square here, I like square. And of course the transform mode is the best here. So how do you attach this effect to the tracker 2 or the radar point? I will switch to the layer panel, and over here I selected the radar point already, and I want to edit the target. Notice that apply motion to, you have layer and effect point control. So actually notice the word point. The effect requires a point. In our case we have the center here, and if you check it, you select it, you notice it has picked already the CC light rays, and it has picked the point as the center. So the point here is quite important. So let's click OK, and we know it's not ready yet, we need to apply. I will select apply, and it asks apply dimension X and Y, that's OK. Now notice how the effect has jumped just over here. Let's go to the effect itself. You notice you have the center here. This is the point it was talking about. And all the keyframes of the radar point have been copied to the center. And here you are. If you play, everything is working very fine. You have your light rays coming out from the top of the mast. Fine. When you come to the end here, you need to cut it off. But you cannot cut the layer because it's a video layer. So what do you do here? Well, it's very easy. Let's say you want to stop it just over here. In every effect, there is something that can kill it or make it 0 or nil. In this case, is the radius. Let's put the radius to 0. You notice it's gone. And of course, we want to keyframe it. Let's go back to the beginning and put back the radius to 40. Of course, you don't want it to go from 40 to 0. You want to use hold keyframes. Here you are. I've select both of them. Right click and go toggle to hold keyframes. So it's going to be 40 all the time until it gets over here and it goes to 0 and it goes off. Very nice. Let's animate this guy also. Let's play a bit, guys. Let's keyframe the direction. We are at 0. Let's go to the next keyframe and add, for example, 3 rotations. Not only you attach the center of the effect, but also you are capable to animate the effect. Let's see now our animation. It has to look good. Okay, that's pretty nice here. Well, these are simple examples that I want to show you, and it's very nice that you go ahead and try. Another effect that you can add, for example, is the radials. Okay, you have radial blur, our right radial. You have the radial blur over here. You have CC fast radial blur, and you have a CC radial blur if you like to. If you can come and add them, the CC radial blur has a center and can be attached. So it's up to you to play with it. I will just undo from here. By now, I think you became masters in tracking one point on the position. Okay, we have been tracking only one single point here on the position. But then there is the rotation and the scale that we are going to work with. Welcome to Perspective Corner Pin Tracking, which will help you to track certain areas using the track motion. And it's very interesting. Our mission in this lecture is to track the green area here on the handheld phone. It really doesn't matter the movement of the phone, whatever it is, it will track it very nicely. Now, some of you might be wondering why I'm not using the green screen keying here, or the keying. Well, if you notice very well, there is no foreground on this video. You will use the keying to remove a green screen when there is a foreground. So you remove the background that's supposed to be green and keep the foreground. But over here, there is no foreground. There is nothing in front of the green screen. So obviously keying is nonsense. You will use track motion with the perspective corner pins and it will do the job. Cool, let's start. I will select the phone layer, of course, and then click on track motion. A single track point has been created for you. If you come to the track type here, it says transform. I want you to click on it and go select perspective corner pin, not parallel corner pin, because this guy, there is nothing parallel here. So you go to perspective corner pin. Okay. Now you have 4 track points created for you. If you come to the layer here in the tracker, you will see 4 track points. Each track point has exactly the same properties as a normal track points, nothing different at all. So our mission now is to position the track points on the corner of the area we want to track. And then of course, analyze and then edit the target. As simple as this. So let's start by positioning the track points. Actually, positioning the track points is the key of the success of this maneuver, if you like. I will zoom in just a bit, okay, and take the first track point, selected, click on it, and just drag it. Now, there are few things that you need to pay attention to. You're not only paying attention to the track point position, but also you're paying attention to the line itself. Is the line really covering the area that you want? So let's take the second pin here, click inside and drag and just put it over here. Being careful to make sure that the line is covering the area. Like this is not. Like this it is. And I'm bringing it as near as the green area as possible. Now let's position track point 4 and notice what's going to happen. If I click and drag, the track point is not moving anymore because it has been stopped with the linear line, connecting track point 1, track point 3, and track point 4. So maybe first we try to adjust the track point 3. Let's come over here and just put it in the corner, making sure that the line above, okay, here is okay, making sure that the line here is really covering the area we want. Then let's go to track point 4, as simple as this. We click and drag and just put it over here. Okay, now you zoom out, and what you want to make sure that the lines are covering the area that you want to track. So you created an area that will be tracked through its track points. Simple. This is done. All you have to do is to press on Analyze Forward. Now, depending on the speed of your computer, this can go very fast or very slow. But you need to watch it. You cannot say, okay, I'll go make coffee, come back. Because if there is a problem, you want to see the problem now. You don't want to start discovering the problems after you have, completed the tracking. You might want to stop it now. For me, I know it's going to go very right, and I will be watching it, but I will speed up the video and get back to you when it has completed. Okay. So it has finished the tracking, and notice there are thousands of keyframes here. Let's first of all enjoy ourselves and put the video and see if we have done a good job. Then we'll come back to the layer here, see exactly what happened in the layer. I will take the version, which is a nice airplane here, and drop it inside the composition. You notice that the version video is smaller than the main video. The main video was 1080p. This one is 720p. It's okay, let's see what happens. After all, the phone is not that big. I will come back to the phone, and of course I have to come back to the layer panel because while dropping the version, it has moved to the composition panel. And I will say edit target. We have only version and we click OK. It's not going to ask you for XY position. Everything is set for you. Let's go and apply and see our work. Give it a second. And play. I press F2 and play. It has tracked it, put the video using a certain effect, and it's done at 100%. Pretty cool, guys, right? Let's go now and explore a bit what happened in the version layer. If you click on it, you will notice that there is the corner pin effect that has been applied. You can come to Effects and Preset and look for the corner pin. It will actually help you to distort a video or whatever you like using its 4 corners, the upper left, upper right, lower left, and lower right. The 4 corners over here. And notice that After Effects has taken keyframes for every track point. Okay, if you notice, track point 1 here has keyframes for the attach point. It has taken track point 1, if it is this corner, and put it on the upper left. As simple as this. So it used an effect and took all the keyframes from the track points here and put them on the corners of the corner pin. This is the corner pin here. I can move it, by the way. I'm destroying the work, but just to show you how the corner pin is working, here you are. Fine, I will undo this and the other one. again. Okay. So now you have done the job. It is so easy. The corner pin effect, I encourage you to come and use it. Even there is one that is much better from CC. And you have your animation pretty nicely done. Okay, guys. If there is anything that is not clear here, because it seems very simple, and it is exactly, please ask your questions. In the challenge activity, they will have to do the same work for a different kind of phone and a different kind of position and much higher movement. This is your challenge. Here you have the dancing bulbs video. It has 3 bulbs and they are oscillating, coming and going all over the place. The challenge itself is to create the necessary track points, and on the first bulb you attach the text warning, on the second one you attach the effect CC light arrays, and on the third one you attach the skull. So it's quite easy and quite simple challenge. But it's very important that you do it, you achieve it, and you work a bit hard. If you do not manage and you tried, that's fantastic already. In the next lecture, I will see you with a tutorial for this simple challenge. Welcome to the challenge. Before you go through this lecture, I hope you went to After Effects and tried to do the challenge from the previous lecture. And I hope you tried your best. Now, to follow along with me here, you can open the file motion tracking bulbs-challenge.aep. So let's start here. We have 3 bulbs and they are just oscillating left and right, and it's pretty cool, by the way, for tracking. Let's start establishing the track points. Okay, I'll come to the beginning, select the layer, and within the tracker here I can select dancing bulbs, and immediately it jumps to the layer panel and you are ready to add a track. Then you select the layer over here and you click on track motion to add a track. Let's start by tracking the first one in the middle here and adding the effect. I will select the track point, here you are, and move it just over here. I will zoom in using the mouse scroll and resize the search region. That will be cool. If you take it up, I think it's okay. And also the region of interest. In fact, I need more. So I will do like this, I'm pushing it. So I think this will be good. Let's zoom in. So we start analyzing. Now notice we already have a problem here. Well, I want to continue. I don't like it. In fact, I will undo and go back here to settle the track point. Let's make it bigger from here and from here, and make this one a bit smaller, and zoom out and just start analyzing. Again, let's see if it's gonna do well. It seems it's okay. Okay, it has completed the tracking and it seems it's pretty cool. It has done a good job, by the way. Let's go for the effect now. We have CC light, I already searched for it. You have CC light rays, and you will click and drag and drop it on the layer itself. So let's first attach the CC light ray. I will come back to the tracker panel and we'll choose the current track, that will be tracker 1, and we edit the target. As you know, it's effect point control. Click OK. So we're cool with that, and we say apply. Is it applying dimension to X and Y? You say OK. Now there are a few parameters here you can play with. For example, the intensity. You can hide the intensity. You can hide the bit radius. It's cool. If you notice, let's keep it round, or you can take square. I don't know. It's your taste here. Transfer mode add is nice. Let's play and see exactly how it is. Well, that seems cool enough. Let's move on. Let's go back to the layer panel, and from here we want to add another track. So I can click on track motion. I will get a new track point. Notice it came where the previous one was. If I click and drag, here you are. Now you might ask yourself, is this the track point 1? Actually, we are in tracker 2, so there is no way it is the same track. We were in tracker 1, that is tracker 2. You notice the difference. Good. Let's do the same here. Let's zoom in and make it a bit bigger. We take the search region and make it bigger, just like this. Okay, that will do. And the region of interest, here you are. I'm trying to grab it and make it bigger. Okay, let's take them down. Let's make the search region a bit bigger. I think this will do. Yeah, I think so at least. Let's now start tracking. I click on Analyze Forward and see what's happening here. Well, until now, it seems it's doing well. I think it has done a very good job. Okay, let's go back to the beginning. And from here, let's edit the target. First, we need to take the skull and put it inside our composition. Notice it's very big, so I'm going to make it smaller, just like this. Put it inside the bulbs. That looks cool, by the way. Come back to the layer panel and select our layer. Just select it from here. And make sure you are in Tracker 2, not in Tracker 1. Okay? And I go Edit, Target. And here we want the layer. And we have only skull for now. And we click OK. And then, of course, you apply. X and Y, yes. Okay. Let's play it and see exactly. It's doing very well. Fine. Let's start with the text. In the composition panel here, I'll click on text. Come over here and write warning. Now I will go back to the layer panel. I will add another tracker, track motion. And you have tracker 3. You notice what's happening. And you have a new track point. You can see the tracker 3 over here. Okay, I will try to click on it. It's too small. Zoom in. Just bring it just over here. Okay. And then we make the search region a bit bigger. In fact, here I'm going to show you how I work. I will take the feature region and make it bigger. Here you are. And you notice now the other one is glowing with it. So this is pretty practical because now you can adjust both of them without having to use the search region. But nevertheless, I'm going to adjust it to make it bigger. I think from here also I need a bit more. Cool. I will zoom out. And of course, you start analyzing from the beginning of the composition. Okay, there is no jumping until now. Everything is cool. It's not very good. You could do a better job by adjusting the track point. It has completed the job, and I think it has done a very good job also. Then we come to Edit Target. So we click on it and select Warning. That's the text layer. Click OK. And of course, you go to Apply. XY, yes, I want XY. Now you notice the text is coming on the very bright area. I need to take it down a bit. The way I will do it is to select the text layer, press A for the anchor point and change the anchor point position. Here you are. I'm just going to put it over here. Fine. We click out. We play. Great, guys. You have completed your challenge and your practice activity. It was pretty nice, by the way. Of course, this is what I have done, but I'm sure that if you are more meticulous and you're not giving a lecture, you can do even better than me. So please, if you haven't completed this project or this challenge, go to After Effects, open the project file and try to complete it and do your best. And add maybe different images, different text and different effect. Do it the way you would like. It's very important that you train. This is your challenge and practice activity about the corner pins. You have here a video of a phone, just, panning around. Okay, it's very simple. And what you want to do is to take the pre-comp or the composition chat phone and just track it and put it inside the phone. Here you are. Very simple, very easy. Now, it's very important that you try. I've provided you with the motion graphics. If you open the chat phone, it's very easy, just a few layers that are scaling up. Don't worry about these layers having been imported from Illustrator. Just deal with them as layers if you want to change the animation over here. But I would like you to focus on the tracking here, tracking the motion of the green screen, as you can see, and also editing the target and applying for the chat phone. It's very easy, very simple. But also it's up to you now to go ahead and start playing with this. Now, of course, I did this motion graphics. If you don't like it, put your own motion graphics. That will be very nice. Create a new comp. See how you can do the size of the composition. There is a lot in this project, if you notice. I created this comp by just importing it from Illustrator. Maybe you want to create your own motion graphics inside, or you want to put another video plus motion graphics. Please guys, go to After Effects and open the challenge project file and start working on it. This is the tutorial for the challenge. But before you start the tutorial, please guys, go back to the previous lecture, notice what I have done, open the challenge project file, and try to do the work. Try to resolve the challenge on your own. It's very easy, very simple, I can assure you. But it's important that you try it. Knowledge is useless without practice, without exercise. And this is a beautiful exercise that you would like to do. Let's start. If you want to follow along with me, or you didn't open the file yet, you can open Motion Tracking Phone-Challenge. And we can start together. Let's double click on the chat phone composition. It's a small comp where you have several layers that are imported from Illustrator. Don't worry about the import, just ensure that you are using them exactly like normal layers. But here you have the rasterize. It's important that you put it all on. Notice here the switch is for vector layer continuously rasterize. It will make them a bit better resolution. Cool, let's start with the phone portrait. I'll click and drag to create a new composition. Now we put the sound off. You can play and see how it's working. The movement is okay. The phone is going up and down. But actually, any kind of phone that you have or any kind of animation will do the same. Let's start tracking now. I'll click on Track Motion. And you come to Track Type. From Transform, you change it to Perspective Corner Pin. Here you are. So you have 4 corners here. So the first task is to position the track points in the right places on the corners here, making sure we align them so we cover the whole green or even a bit more. So I will start with pin number 1. I will zoom in a bit. Here you are. And click inside, making sure I'm dragging the pin itself and try to position it as best as I can. I'm gonna put it just in the corner here. Good. Then I'll take pin 2. I hope you're following along and you're doing it faster than me. I will click and drag inside and just put it over here. Now I want to make sure that the line here is pretty correct. Here you are. The line is not bad. You can now start with track point 3. Click on it, drag it, and just position it over here. Okay, fine. This is cool, I think. Let's go with the track point 4 now. Click and drag and just position it over here. Okay, make sure that we have a good line for all the tracks. Now, I will zoom in and make sure that the lines are covering the area I want. Maybe here we went a bit overboard, but I think it's okay. It's no problem. So we're cool. So the next step, you know it very well now, is about analyzing. So I will analyze forward. All the pins are moving correctly. There is no problem at all until now. It's going slowly, but not bad. Cool. Now it finished analyzing and we have the track points in the right place. If you play over here or you scrub through, you notice the track points are in a good position everywhere. Let's go back to 100%. And you notice they're not bad at all. So the next step is to bring the chat phone composition and drop it inside the composition where we have the phone. I'll put it on top. Notice it's pretty small. You can do better, guys. And wherever there is a graphic inside, you can change it. That will be quite some fun, right? So I will come back to the layer panel. And from here, I'll select the layer itself. I'll go to Edit Target and set it to chat phone. So easy. There is no XY. And all I have to do is apply. Of course, it jumped to the composition panel. And if you deselect now, you come back to the beginning and play. Notice you have a very nice animation here where your motion graphics is inside the phone. It's working pretty nice. Now, this is a 12-second phone. Maybe sometimes you get 3 seconds, you show something on the screen, you move on. You know, something like this. Please, guys, come. If you haven't done so yet, do this challenge and create your own. Change the colors, maybe change the graphics inside, make a bigger composition, and try to do the tracking with the corner pins. Get used to this. You are going to use it a lot. As soon as you know it, lots of ideas about motion graphics will appear in your mind and you can do lots of nice things. Thank you very much for listening. I will see you in the next lecture.